Ladies and gents, welcome back. Welcome back once again. It's another Friday, and here we are from Tokyo coming in. So I know I said I was going to do a walk and talk, but I didn't have the time to prepare for that. So to do that, I'm going to actually have two phones on the go for that, and I'll need to get another SIM card for my other phone. So that'll be next week. I'm going to put that one off, and we're going to chill here in this room, and we're going to talk about some of the things that have been going on that I haven't been able to report on because I'm vacationing here in Tokyo. And here we go. And not going to lie, it's been very difficult working from a laptop to put these stories together and travel and all this other stuff. I actually ended up having to get a second monitor because I just can't keep track of all the stuff that's going on here. Konnichiwa, Japan in the house. What's happening, Derek? Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Really appreciate it. But now things should go a little bit smoother because now I have at least a couple of monitors happening here as we do this. Hello, everyone. Hello, Clyde. Hello, you. Let's get the chat in here. And hopefully this works better this week as well. I ended up doing something a little bit different, so maybe it'll be a little bit more accurate to the live chat instead of having to refresh it so many times as we did last week. But we're going to try to make things go a little bit smoother this time. And for you guys that aren't familiar with what's going on here, this is the Friday night live stream. This is when I give back to the community every week. You guys are so great, and you watch all of my videos in the mornings. I do videos normally from Monday through Friday at early times in the morning. Look, I have to move over here now. What am I doing? I need to maybe adjust things a little bit here just to get things going. But we'll figure this out as we go. But yeah, so I'll do videos in the mornings every Monday through Friday. That hasn't been happening this week because this has been so crazy busy. Unacceptable Fringe with re-upping the membership. Thank you so much. 9 months. I'm due for Clyde's YouTube baby. If you've seen my puckish exterior, it's evident I'm overdue. There you go. There you go. All right. So yeah, so this is the usual Friday night live stream. Currently it's not Friday and it's not night here in Tokyo. It's actually 11:30 a.m. Saturday. I'm ahead of you guys. I'm way in the future. Podcasting from the future. I'll let you know how things go if anything happens. I'm way ahead of you. I'm way ahead of you on all of this. But yeah, this is the live stream format, and I'm happy to bring this to you. I wouldn't mind bringing the chat into another spot. We'll see how this works. We'll get this going. How's the weather? The weather is fantastic, actually. The weather is really nice. It's hovering. I mean, there's a high of 20 degrees pretty much every day this past week, and it's been sunny. It's just too nice. Can't believe it. Clyde, since Beijing? What was this with the Beijing thing? Since you're so close to Beijing, can you ask the CCP to stop interfering with Canadian elections? Yeah, I'd love to ask them. Japan and China haven't always had the best relations. That's a reality. Rob Hellfire, welcome. Welcome to the membership part of the channel. Thank you so much for signing up for a membership. Much appreciated. It helps to bring this stuff to you guys even when I'm traveling. I wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't for the donations that you guys have given to the channel and the memberships and all of that. It's been very helpful. So I've been able to bring everything with me on the road. Hopefully I'll be able to bring a little bit more news next week. I won't be traveling within Japan next week. I'll be here in Tokyo. Clyde, do something on the scene. Yeah. Where is everyone watching from tonight? Good question, Joe. I'm broadcasting from Tokyo, Japan. Where's everybody watching from? And I know that the chat is just going to go insane here real quick, and I won't be able to keep up with it, but I'll try my best. What's happening, good people? Of course. The usual Friday night live stream. Again, coming to you from Saturday morning in Tokyo, Japan. Here we go. Edmonton, Calgary, Toronto, Sudbury, Ontario. Wow. I used to live there at one point. Arthur, Abby, BC, Winter Peg. Oh, I hear Canada just got nailed again with more winter over the past week. That's insane. Mission, BC, Surrey, BC. Another $10 from Unacceptable Fringe. Clyde Broadcasting from the future. That means whatever happens in Canada is yesterday's news. That's right. Just like the Macho Man Randy Savage. I'm finding myself in a predicament I'd rather not be in. That's right. Not currently the Intercontinental Champion. Rest in peace, Macho Man Randy Savage. What a champion he was. Watching from Wisconsin. Wow. Tomahawk, Alberta. Two Hills, Alberta. Southwestern Ontario. Yeah, holy cow. I left British Columbia, and then British Columbia, where I live, got schwacked with like 50 centimeters of snow like a few days after I left. I am really happy to not be there at the moment. I'm happy to be where I'm at, vacationing in sunny Tokyo. It's, again, been sunny every single day. It's amazing. We went to a place called Atami for a few nights this past week. That's why it's just been too difficult to get any stories together in the mornings. And I know a lot of people are telling me. So I put a video out yesterday, and just a short one, walking down the street. And the comments overwhelmed with, Clyde, just have your vacation. We'll still be here. Go do your vacation. Yeah, if I can, I'll definitely share stories and talk about what's happening in the news, because this is my passion. This is the thing that I love to do. More than anything else, more than my normal day job, which I still have, and I will be going back to when I get back from Tokyo. But yeah, this is definitely a thing. Wow. Yeah, the chat filling up. I'm having a hard time because I don't have the usual like big tons of monitors set up to keep track of what's all happening all of the time. But I am seeing 83 likes and 207 people watching. So help us out, folks. Hit that like button. What it does is it helps out the channel. It lets YouTube's algorithm know that, hey, these are people that are interested in this kind of thing, and they would like to see more of this kind of thing. And you know what? Let's recommend this to more people who like this kind of thing as well. It definitely helps. It definitely aids in growing the channel. So let's get that happening. Okay, we're seeing over 100, and it's just ... now for me on my screen. We'll see where that goes. But yeah, thank you so much for everyone who's, like I said, I don't ask for the donations to the channel. I put that to good work, but the simple little free things that you guys can do to help out the channel are fantastic, like hitting the like button, sharing, leaving comments, engaging in the chat. This is all stuff that YouTube looks at and says, hey, this means this is good content. Let's share this out with more people. And that helps more than anything out there. So thank you all so very much for that stuff and for doing that. Admission to the show, 1 like. There you go. That's it. You just got to hit that 1 like. Coke for you and you. Oh, yeah. We're going to get into that. In fact, my video that went out this morning actually got demonetized because I put the C word in the title, and I guess that's no good for YouTube. It's good for British Columbian citizens, but it's not good for YouTube. YouTube's not really keen on hearing about that. So we'll try to refrain from saying any bad words that get us put in the no box on YouTube, and try to get the news out as far as possible. I had to make miso soup thinking about Japan. Oh, awesome. I love miso soup. After having lived here in Japan, though, I got spoiled on what good miso is, and wow, I just can't have the stuff at the usual restaurants in Canada anymore. It destroyed it for me. Unfortunately, it's just a thing. But yeah, the food here is fantastic. I'm not gonna lie. I've been eating some of my favorite foods over the past week or so, and it's just incredible, absolutely incredible. And I'm gonna be packing on some pounds actually before I go home. That's me so hungry now. Yeah, okay, I get it. Have some Coke and a smile. That's it. What's the C word in Canada? Lol. Coke, but the whole pronunciation of it. At least when I say Coke, it might be taken as the soft drink. which has always been legal in Canada. But yeah, just for the taste of it. That's right. That's absolutely correct. Insane. So I mean, I leave Canada and things start going. They pop off immediately. Clyde, do something. Get around to the no word. Absolutely high monetizable word. BC has a Coca-Cola problem. There you go. We're just gonna talk about Coca-Cola. The cola brand powder that's out there on the streets will be available coming to a neighborhood near you. And then I'm gonna go into my take on it, because I don't know if my take is gonna be the same as you're hearing from a lot of other people that maybe you tune into. So we'll get into that. Your fault, Clyde. Yeah, sure. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe it's the libertarian side of me that's pushed this into existence. But we'll get into that. Hi, Clyde from Haida Gwaii. Rachel Gilmore was fired. Yeah, unhappy Gilmore. We're gonna get into that one too. We are absolutely gonna get into that, along with crime. Yeah, crime's become legal in British Columbia. That's a thing. Dude, WTF? The legalizing that stuff is so messed up. Yeah. Well, and yeah. Again, we're gonna get into that. What else do we have? Holy cow. Lots of chats to catch up on. So not speak without about what's in the newspaper, etc. Try picking up the newspapers. Try picking up the newspaper, YouTube. Yeah, so that's gonna always be a fight here on YouTube. I'm up for the fight though. Like I said, I'm gonna make it as difficult as I can for them to ever boot me from this platform, because, well, that's the thing. I want to stay here because this is where the most people are. I know a lot of people are telling me, "Oh, get on this platform, this platform, this platform." I do mirror all my content to Rumble, but I mean, there's not a lot of people watching it over there. So that's just the thing. I live stream on YouTube. A lot of people get the push forward notifications. If I did on Rumble, maybe I could. Maybe we'll try it at some point. But this is definitely the platform, the place where people to get out the information. Really, more people watch YouTube, and if people are sharing it out, then more people who maybe aren't in tune with the ideas that we put out here in this community will be able to view it, and that's what's really got Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh afraid, is and even going up further than that into like the World Economic Forum and all these global utopians. They're very afraid for this stuff. Totes McFresh, I love the name. Member for 7 months. Wow, awesome. Thanks for renewing your membership. Gwaii Life. Howda Clyde. Awesome. Amazing. Thank you so much for that. But yeah, the big thing about these alternative platforms, they're great, and I'm glad people use them, because we need more platforms. We need more competition, essentially, in the video sharing platform market, social media. More options, the better. But at the same time, you don't want to not be on the big platforms. I don't know if I necessarily agree with a lot of the people that are like taking their stuff off YouTube and going over to these alternative platforms exclusive. I think growth and pushing the message out there as far as possible is probably the most effective tool that we have out there, instead of creating echo chambers and getting ourselves involved in tighter and smaller communities. I want to branch out there as much as possible, get as many people's attention as we possibly can, and just share these concepts, these ideas, and get them out there. I think that's the name of the game. That's my fight in this one. That's my push for this. So I'm gonna stay on YouTube as long and as loud as possible for the most amount of time. And like I said, echo chamber is better than being banned. Well, yeah, absolutely. But I'm gonna do my best to not get banned. That's kind of what I'm getting at with the dancing around words, not saying this thing a certain way. I know that the rules are arbitrary, so you just kind of you go with that, and you do that with the way things are. Speaking of rules being arbitrary, so I'm here in Japan. And a lot of people are asking me, what's the deal with like the COVID situation in Japan? And in Japan, they still have mask mandates, like legit. Like a lot of places, they still require you to wear a mask. But that being said, the policing of it is like really, like nobody's telling you get a mask on anywhere you go, except on the airplane over here, which was interesting. But as soon as you get out in public, you see a lot of people just not complying with it. A lot of people doing the half comply. And we saw this in Canada before all this. Now Japan is a high compliance society. I mean, they got a high compliance rate with just people and the way they behave. But it's interesting because people do see it as nonsense, and that's the thing. So a lot of people will do something just to not stick out and not stand out. They have the old phrase, the nail that sticks out of the floorboard gets hammered down. So people just don't want to stand out. But you see people like with their nose hanging out, people just using it as a chin strap, or people just nah, I'm not doing it, no thanks. And only in the Rupa did an amazing interview with Tamara. Yeah, I saw that. I didn't watch it, but I saw that it went up. I'm gonna have to check that out. I know Tamara is happy to come on and do a podcast with me, so look forward to a long conversation with Tamara when I get back from Japan. That's gonna be a lot of fun. But yeah, so the compliance thing is kind of weird. You can tell that people are just not into it, and they've made an announcement that they're going to lift the mandates as of the 13th of this month, which it's crazy. I mean, it's just a recommendation, but people just go along with it. I like Viva's face print mask to troll around. Yeah, a lot of people are using those. I think the best one is the minimum compliance masks. Those ones make me laugh the most because they're just like a piece of mesh that goes over your face, and you can tell there's no it doesn't do anything, just like the whatever masks that people are wearing just don't do anything. But that's just a thing. Wayne Allen with a $20 super chat. Make Cassinet news. Am I reading that right? Made Cassinet news bouncing around in my kangaroo suit in front of the Vernon, BC courthouse today. What? That's awesome. That's hilarious. Thank you for the super chat. And I got to check that out. That's hilarious. Cassinet News. If somebody's got a link, pull that up. I would love to experience Japanese culture, you lucky man, Clyde, in more ways than one. Yeah, so I used to live here, and yeah, it's a different thing when you live here to experience the culture. As opposed to just a visit. When you visit a place, you get to see like the superficial side of things, but then there's a lot you miss out on because there's so much nuance and all of that when it comes to cultural stuff. It's a thing. And oh man, I've been able to get to do a bunch of things that I've wanted to do since I got back to Tokyo, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun. A lot of it is just eating a lot of the foods that I wanted to eat and going to the places that I wanted to go. One of my favorite ones was the Kushiage place. Actually, I could pop this up because I shared it on the YouTube communities tab. I'll just pull that up and show you guys real quick what I'm talking about as soon as it loads. Come on, let's go. So I'm on Wi-Fi. I don't have the same internet connection that I'm used to in Canada. I'm on the fiber optic network in Canada. I'm on Wi-Fi here. What am I doing? My channel and go to the communities tab. So I was gonna watch the Tamara interview, but I didn't have a chance. It's just been so busy, so crazy. Shorts, videos, playlists. Where's community? There it is. There we are. Oh, I've been more active than I remembered being. Okay, here we go. Let's have a look at this here. Just a little side by side here. So this is what they call kushi-age, and me and my friend Haynes, we went out and had this, and it's, my God, I love it. And they're breaded and deep fried sticks of stuff on sticks. And it's just absolutely delicious, and everything always goes so well with beer, and you just gotta love that. G-Master with a $2 super chat. Hit the damn like button. Yeah, hit that damn like button. Get onto it. Now this is something that might gross out some people. It's called takowasa, and it's wasabi and raw octopus, and I love it so much. It's so good, and they serve it at a lot of bars in Japan, and it's when I asked for it, people are like, are you sure you're not Japanese? Like, it's weird. It's not usually a Westerner's food thing, and then nothing shows up. What happened to my pictures? What happened to my pictures? What are you doing to me, YouTube? They're just not showing up. Okay, that's it. Oh, here we go. There's the giant beer at Andy's Izakaya in Yurakucho, which was an amazing place to visit. And here's just some of the stuff that was on the menu. Lots of crab, shrimp, giant shrimp, some of the biggest scallops I ever seen in my life. Now, if you ever come to Tokyo, you got to go to Andy's Izakaya. He's an English guy who lives in Tokyo, and he's got this izakaya. Izakaya just means bar, restaurant sort of thing, or a place where you go drink and eat all at the same time. But he goes to the Tsukiji market, which is the world famous fish market in Tokyo, every morning to buy all the fresh food that he serves up at his restaurant. And then every day he goes in, he gets new fresh stuff. So when it's really busy, he might sell out on a lot of things, and it's just amazing. It's amazing, and yeah, one of the most favorite things for me to do when I'm in Tokyo, amongst many other things. But yeah, this is just a bit of the stuff that I've been enjoying since I've been here. That, and we went to I think the place Atami. We went to a place where they had a natural hot spring inside the hotel, and so really got to enjoy that. And yeah, I mean, it's been a whole year since I started going really hard with the YouTube thing, and it's weird because I feel like I'm neglecting YouTube when I don't post videos every single day, but I'm gonna do what I can, and then I'm gonna enjoy my vacation. I'm gonna take people's advice that they've been telling me in the comments. Enjoy your time, do what you can, but enjoy your time more than anything. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have a good time. I'm going out tonight again with my good friend Haynes, and we're gonna let loose. That's the plan for this evening here, this Saturday night in Tokyo. I know it's weird, you guys. It's Friday evening for you guys at the moment. It's Saturday, almost noon. Today. But that's the thing. Amen, Clyde. Do something. Yeah. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna enjoy my time, but I am going to keep up with putting stories out there as much as I can. Now, there's this really big story about Chinese interference in the election. We're gonna get into that, but let's get into some other more lighthearted news before we get into that, because that gets pretty heavy. What do we have here? We have here from our good friend Unhappy Gilmore. I guess things are becoming a little bit more unhappy for Unhappy Gilmore at the moment, as she puts out this on Twitter. Of course, I couldn't see this myself. I had to be told about this because she blocked me for pointing out the reality of the situation there in Canada. But I mean, we can get into that later if you'd like. Hi, friends. I'm heartbroken to share. I've been laid off from global news. Many, many dry eyes in the audience out there. I poured my heart and soul into the work I did alongside amazing colleagues and dealt with some horrifying backlash for it, but I wouldn't change a thing. Yeah, unhappy Gilmore. We all know I had a hard time dealing with the fact that unhappy Gilmore didn't want me following her on Twitter anymore. I thought that would be the end of it, and she would just keep going with her TikTok journalism. I mean, I don't know how else to put that. TikTok journalism. It's amazing. I have so many awesome clips of her on my computer at home, but I'm in Japan. But anyway, I put out there on Twitter. That was a short pour to her. I poured my heart and soul. Not much of a heart or a soul on this one. But yeah, you'll be missed and definitely forgotten. In no time, I'm guessing. Just a dildo with a $5 super chat. Rachel's eyes are so far apart, she sees both sides of every story. A true journalist. Oh boy, wow, that's a dig. That's a dig for sure. But yeah, that was a short pour. She'll be missed and definitely forgotten. But hey, maybe there's a future for her after all. Ferryman Stoll out there saying, hey, sure, I'm sure anti-hate or OnlyFans will take you, Rachel. That sounds like another dig as well. But she put it out there saying, I'm also actively looking for my next gig. So clearly doesn't have anything lined up. Not yet, at least even not independent. I mean, and this is the thing that cracks me up the most about the like social media wing of journalism these days. You would be better, like Rachel Gilmore would actually have done better off without being part of Global, or she only got anywhere because of Global and nobody else would pay attention to that. Just a thought for you. You thought I was saying something else. Also, actively looking for my next gig. You can hop on my DMs or send me an email, Rachel Elizabeth Gilmore. I think unhappy Gilmore at Gmail would be a better email. But that's just my conjecture. I'm so honored to have been able to do what I love for so long. I'm hoping to continue doing it. In the meantime, you all know where to find me. And then, of course, with the Wojak crying behind the happy mask meme. Unhappy Gilmore actually showing a little humanity here. But that's the way the cookie crumbles, I think is what they say. Grifting Gilmore. Well, it's so funny. She's so honored to be able to do what she loves. She didn't love what was happening with her thing, and well, in the end, it didn't work out. It just didn't work out. Clyde offered her an internship. That's funny. Oh, you kill me. That's actually really funny. Happy Shilmore. Oh, oof. Heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking. Now, I was actually talking about this with Joe Lyman earlier because he brought up an interesting point, and this is a point that I wanted to get at, and that's the fact that it's funny, the coincidence between about the timing. So we just learned recently that, well, the feds have banned TikTok from government devices. This is a real thing. Feds banned TikTok from government devices. The government of Canada has banned TikTok from government devices, saying the Chinese social media app poses unacceptable risks to privacy and security. And I mean, people have been saying this for how long? And they're just kind of catching on to this concept here that, yeah, there's definitely an issue with the Chinese social media app being in the hands of all government workers and all that data being able to track. Who knows what else is happening with that app? So, yeah, they're being told, get rid of that. Liberal MP Mona Fortier made the announcement on Monday saying TikTok would be removed from devices on Tuesday, and devices would no longer be able to download the app. So if you have a government device, you're gonna have to go get your own device and have that going with your own money. Sorry, government workers, but you're gonna have to buy your own TikTok. TikTok data collection methods provide considerable access to the contents of the phone, said Fortier. The decision to remove and block TikTok is being taken as a precaution. Now, this made me laugh because it's like, well, what about ArriveCan? What do you think you were doing with ArriveCan? No, we're not doing anything nefarious with this ArriveCan app. No, we wouldn't do that. No. Oh, but it's given permissions to all kinds of things that are pretty bad if the communist regime were to have that information. Hey, what do you know? Maybe it's a bad thing. Now, on that note, it's funny, when I came to Japan, I was like, oh, am I gonna have to go through some really intrusive stuff like Canada's been pushing on people? And it turns out no. They set up a website that has a mobile version, which you don't have to download any app. You just go on the website, use your browser, whatever browser you choose, and you set up your thing for your immigration and all that, and it really just fast tracks you through the thing. It generates a QR code that goes into their own database based on what you put into their website, and then you can just take that QR code and then go, boop, here's my customs QR, and here's my immigration QR, and then as soon as it's done, you just log off the website, and that's it. We could have done that in Canada, but no, our government had to be creepy as hell and go that route. Absolutely gross what they were doing with that. But here, let's have a look. It's so funny. So yeah, this is what I think led to Rachel Gilmore's firing, because she's no longer useful if she can't be the TikTok reporter for the Canadian press, which I believe that's what her whole entity was in social media anyway. And it was interesting because Joe put it past me that, hey, you know what? I think this is the way it's been working. They push this stuff on TikTok, and then the politicians and government workers are looking at TikTok, and then they share it on Twitter, and then the news media runs with it as if it's news, and it's gross, and it is one of those things that I don't know. It's eerily reminiscent of the human centipede. And here's Joe's rendition of how the news media cycle's been working for the past while anyway. Let's get a little zoom up of this, and here it is. You have the Chinese Communist Party. They put that stuff into TikTok, right? And here's how it goes. It goes right in through the TikTok algorithm, blah, 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 blah. And then it goes right into the politicians' mouths that are just stuck to that TikTok. They're stuck right on it. They're on there like a whistling trout. Can't let go. Politicians are sucking it right through TikTok from the CCP, then spewing that out on Twitter. And Twitter's just going, hey, let's go to town with this. Let's push that out there, and then it goes right to the mainstream media, and then that's how this all goes. And Rachel Gilmore had an especially amazing role because she came out and she did the reach around underneath, and she went right into the same hole with the CCP, right back into the TikTok algorithm, and just kept that whole thing going. And this is probably the best rendition of how TikTok and the Chinese Communist Party have been pushing out things to the politicians and then right out on Twitter and into the mainstream media. Yeah, it's the human centipede in real practice, in actual real practice. So Gilmore, a little bit unhappy that she can't be part of this this little part of the equation any longer. That won't be very useful for the mainstream media anymore. So they unfortunately just had to let her go. Yeah, there you go. Recycling. That's how we do it. We don't reduce or reuse anymore. We just recycle the same old crap, for lack of a better word, out there. that's my take. Thanks to Joe for the illustration there on how TikTok has been influencing our mainstream media and the trajectory, the path, the the intestinal tract of the mainstream media. TikTok is whack. I don't pay attention to TikTok. I heard it's really funny. A really funny thing about it is in TikTok, it's under another name. It's essentially the same app, but in China they have TikTok, but it's got a different name. Same thing, but it's funny. In North America, they push out debauchery and all of this stuff. That's what the algorithm gets fed. Here's what we want everybody to see. And then in China, it's a different story. What people get pushed out is like, here's this interesting stuff about science. Here's this awesome stuff about why it's great to love your country and all this stuff. It seems like probably a good move to push away from TikTok as a whole and get away from that. But that's just me, possibly. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. But we can have this discussion afterwards in the Discord. Link is in the description down below. We always hang out in the Discord after these live streams for a while anyway. But yeah, I normally have my wobbly pops in there, but it's like daytime here in Tokyo. Sorry, no wobbly pops in the Discord today. But I will be having wobbly pops later with some friends here in Tokyo. But that's a thing. Douyin in China. Oh, Douyin. That's what TikTok's called. But yeah, a lot of people use TikTok. I've refrained. I've stayed away from it because every time I watch it, all they want to show me is like fat dudes jiggling their belly. That the fat dude jiggling his belly dance, fail videos, and just that's all. And girls dancing. I'm like, okay, I'm not getting anything out of this. I think not gonna lie though, Instagram does much of the same stuff, so I stay away. I'm sticking to Twitter because it's funny at least. At least it's funny. Hey, Clyde. Good to see ya. Good to see you too, Joey. Good to see ya. Ski. Yeah, you like something? Ski. Something. Sorry, it's over. Oh, hi. Sorry, it's over. No, we're not over. We're not over. We're hanging out here for a little while. We still got more stories to go over. This is such devastating news about unhappy Gilmore. Oh, it's sad. It was sad news. I hope the best for her. I'm sure CBC will pick her up or something like that, unless she's just totally done. She really destroyed her own brand. Led to some defamation lawsuits that they have to deal with. Got It Clyde is clearly doing us dirty with no wobbly pops, just a podcast and a chuck. Sorry, I'm not gonna have wobbly pops in the middle of the day. That's just the thing. I might have a cup of coffee or something. But it's daytime over here. It really is. Like this, and it's Saturday. The pleb had a good post. Oh, I'll have to check it out about unhappy Gilmore. That's. My kids are freaking out in the room next door. But let's get on with this. Let's move on to some other stories that are happening in the news. This is this one I thought was kind of interesting. A new study casts doubt on effectiveness of COVID-19 border closures, and this comes way too late, but at least it sets us up for something good possibly in the future when they try to nail us with some other new avian flu or some other crap that, well, just people are not what time is it in Japan? It's noon now. It's noon over here on Saturday. So we're in the future. We're way in the future. But here we go. A new study comparing data from 166 countries that closed the borders during the first 22 weeks of the pandemic says most targeted closures aimed at travelers from COVID-19 hotspots did little to curb the crisis. That's just the ones that we're saying, okay, we're gonna shut it down for people from Wuhan or something like that. By contrast, total border closures bearing all non-essential travel did slow the spread of COVID-19, but at such a high cost that writers warn they should only be considered in the future as a last resort. Well, I mean, it can only be a first resort if it's going to be anything, but it's a last resort only in the sense that, well, we really need to shut this down. We saw New Zealand, they shut everything down and it didn't help them at all. All it did was it just prolonged the inevitable. You might say, oh, well, the vaccine got, they had time to spread the vaccine around before any infections came to New Zealand. Well, that didn't even work out for them. That didn't even work out for them because that didn't slow any spread whatsoever. And that's just the thing that, only history can tell you. The report was published February 28th in the medical journal PLOS Global Public Health by researchers from York University Global Strategy Lab, and looked at both global and country level impacts of closures. People just assumed at the time that these measures were effective, but that's not necessarily the case. The paper lead author, Mathieu Poirier, said the media release, Poirier is a social epidemiology professor. That took me a second. At York and co-director of Global Strategy Lab. Our study shows using real-world data that most countries, in most situations, border closures are not going to be the best approach, he said. Beginning in late January and throughout February 2020, some countries placed restrictions on foreign travelers from countries with high rates of COVID-19 transmission. Then, when the World Health Organization declared it a pandemic on March 11th, so many countries closed their borders to all non-essential travel that the study estimates that at least 95% of the world's population was affected by border closures. On a global level, the study found that early wave of targeted closures had no impact on global COVID-19 transmission, while early total border closures did manage to reduce the rate of transmission globally. So this is like if you totally shut your border, yeah, it'll slow it down. But if you restrict your border, it doesn't do anything. It didn't help out whatsoever. So that was, whoops. Big mistake. Looking back, hindsight is 2020, and they're looking at it now. There it is. While the global sum of targeted border closures implemented by February 5th, 2020 were not sufficient to slow the COVID-19 pandemic, the global sum of total border closures implemented by March 19th, 2020 did result in statistically significant reduction in global transmission, the study reads. Researchers found that targeted closures were no more likely to reduce COVID-19 transmission domestically than globally. Of the 34 countries they studied that enacted targeted closures, the 12 experienced decreased transmission, 10 experienced increased transmission, and 12 experienced mixed results. Total closures produced slightly better domestic results. Of the 103 countries that closed their borders to all non-essential travel, 41 experienced reduced transmission, 28 experienced increased transmission, and 34 experienced mixed results. Experienced increased transmission, that would tell you that it did nothing. It absolutely did nothing. Are you Shogun yet, Clyde? Nope, working on it. Still working on it. According to the study published in the Canadian Medical Association Journal in June 2020, restrictions aimed at travelers from South Africa during the Omicron surge failed to prevent the variant from spreading in Canada, because by then it was already spreading in Europe. So again, this is one of those things where the actual efforts that they put into this were detrimental to society as a whole, because what it did in other areas of society had a much bigger negative effect than the positive effect that they were trying to go after with this. And the research shows that, well, it's negligible at best, if anything was done by restricting people's travel. If anything, though, when we look at this, is there was a lot of people that were keen on it, a lot of people begging for the government to limit people's civil liberties, stop people from being able to travel even within their own countries. And again, none of that. If it didn't work on a global level, how in the heck do we think that would have worked on a provincial level in our own country? Let alone not allowing people to travel. They actually, before those truckers took off out of British Columbia and started moving towards Ottawa in late January last year, they were actually actively talking about putting blockades between the borders in the provinces of Canada to stop people from traveling. And a lot of people say, well, we didn't need the convoy. Everything was moving in that direction anyway. No, I don't believe you one bit. The world was moving in that direction, but Canada sure as hell was not moving in that direction. Canada was moving into more draconian measures, more restrictions on people's civil liberties, and pushing further for their digital ID via the ArriveCAN app, of which I'm giving you testament of how Japan did it. Japan did it on a website. They didn't need to force people to download an app and put it on their phone and track their every movement all the time while they were in the country. So yeah, we definitely needed the convoy. That's right. It really changed the course of where things have gone for the better in Canada because of it. They did it in Quebec. Absolutely. And well, here's the thing. So if you look back on what they were doing throughout this time and what they're still doing today, they're doing test cases, see what people will put up with in different provinces. And if people put up with it, then they're like, okay, let's blanket this across the whole country. And Quebec was a test case in a lot of ways. British Columbia was a test case in a lot of ways. We had the QR code for people. You couldn't even go to a restaurant. And we saw, what we saw? We saw corporate restaurants going along with it, and then we saw, independents just turning a blind eye to it. Forget it. No thanks. I don't want to be a part of this. We have clientele in our small town, or whatever the happenstance happens to be. But that was definitely a thing in Canada. And again, if people try to argue that we didn't need the convoy, they didn't need to do that. No, the convoy definitely changed the course of what was going on, and saying these things that are coming out now as studies, like this one from York University, saying that the restrictions did nothing to slow the spread, stop the spread, or any of this stuff. And the more that this information comes out, the more that this happens, the more important it is to spread this information that, yes, it was needed that we had a convoy, because after all of this time, a whole year later, they're trying to spread this new information that that the convoy didn't do anything, that they were moving in the direction anyway, when absolutely that's not the case. They were not moving in the direction, and in fact, there was no opposition against it. Even look in the Conservative Party, there was no opposition under O'Toole. He was happy and fine to go along with all of this stuff that the Liberals and the NDP are pushing in Canada. And Well, look at the Conservatives in Ontario. It's hard. It's hard not to get blackpilled in this whole thing, watching the politics and how it goes about. Let's hope. And this is why I focus on the culture and I don't focus so much on the politicians, because we saw recently with Pierre Poilievre and his whatever. We didn't even hear a concise thing. Did he say that thing about Christine Anderson? Even though we had Melissa Lunsman, his second in command, come out and say, yeah, that was him. He didn't come out and say that it was him decisively. But yeah, we definitely need to push back on this, and this is why I concentrate on the culture, because the culture definitely is the tool. Yeah, the culture is where the battleground actually is. You change the culture, the politicians will change accordingly. And that seems to be the case, where they thought that the culture was moving in one direction, and with influence, undue influence, if that, from lobby groups like the World Economic Forum or other lobby groups. They're not the only one, but pushing influence and trying to say that the culture is moving this way, and convincing politicians that this is the way it's going, via polling data, or just having what would you call it, their media analysts telling them, oh, these are the things that you should say. Principles are out the window when it comes to politicians, and we should just kind of realize that across the board. Even if they say nice stuff in the moment, they may not have principles in mind. But if we change the culture, and if we push the culture in a particular direction, they will follow suit, because they're afraid of losing their jobs, and that's kind of where it goes from there. And that's my take on this study. That's just basically proving everybody right that was on this side of the aisle when it came to the COVID restrictions and limiting people's ability to travel, and essentially using it as an excuse to stomp on people's rights that they fought for, and our forefathers had fought for so vehemently, for us to have the God-given rights that we do in our place. Wayne Allen with the new membership. Hey, welcome to the channel, and thank you so much for signing up as a member. Ukrainians have human rights also, absolutely, and I think they should fight for their human rights. And we should definitely cheer from a sideline and say, hey, good on you, go for those rights, and then keep our money at home and help Canadians that are in trouble. That's pretty much my stance on that one there. I hope the best for them, absolutely. And if our government wants to get involved in any wars, they should declare war and see if that goes over well with the population in the country, rather than fighting a proxy war with our money. I don't necessarily agree with that. And again, I'm not changing haven't changed my opinion on that, and nobody has addressed it in a way that's convinced me otherwise on that front. So that's really where I stand on that one. I do hope the best for them moving forward, and it must suck for the people of the country, absolutely. But let's get into what we are doing here in Canada. Sorry, I keep saying here, but I'm not there. I'm in Tokyo at the moment, but that's the thing. Mr. Sunshine Baby giving Max harsh mainstream media lesson this week. I saw the clickbait. I didn't know if it was him actually giving harsh criticism. I should watch the video. I can't get my opinion on it because I haven't seen the video. Sorry. I did see the thumbnail. That's that was something else. But let's get into this. Hey, did you ever think, hey, would you like some Coke with those that fries and burger? Well, in British Columbia, it turns out you'll be able to order Coke with anything that you want. So here's and I'm gonna watch my words wisely, because I had my video this morning demonetized when talking about this particular subject. But let's get into this. What is happening here? We have this from Kelowna Now. Cannabis company in BC gets approval to process and sell cola. Cannabis company based in BC says they have received Health Canada's approval to possess, produce, and sell cola to anybody who wants it out there. You can go get yourself some Coca-Cola any which way you'd like. And of course, you can, if you're listening in and not watching the video, you just kind of defer to what you think I'm saying, maybe not what I'm saying out loud. But yeah, this is the better cola, the more expensive cola, let's just say. Adastra Holdings Ltd. in Langley is owned by Michael Forbes, the creator of the Forbes Group, which operates a myriad. Sorry, I almost said Madrid. A myriad of companies, including everything from healthcare service delivery, advertising and media production, moving and storage, and more. He is now gonna be in the business of, well, we'll see. He also owns cannabis companies such as Sitka Weedworks and Clarity Cannabis. Adastra Labs got approval from the health authority in February 17th, 2023, after already having received its controlled drug and substance dealer's license on August 24th, 2022. Wow. With this, the amended license, Adastra can legally interact with up to 250 grams of cola and will be able to import Coca-Cola bushels, which are used to the manufacture and synthesizing of the soft drink. The license also allows Adastra to possess, produce, and distribute up to 1,000 grams of psilocybin. That is that's the fancy pants mushrooms that you put in your salads. Harm reduction is critically important and mainstream topic, and we are staying at the forefront of drug regulations across the board, says Forbes. Hey, or we're at the front lines of raking in cash as the government in British Columbia is getting in on this big cash grab. And this is reminiscent of when they legalized pot in Canada. It was, you know, there were people out there that worked for decades. They worked really hard. They risked arrest. They've been arrested. They risked imprisonment. They risked all kinds of things to change the culture and change everything that was going on around weed, and saying, you know, whatever, it's medicinal, or I got no argument in the game. I don't care much about it or for it personally, but they worked really hard at changing the culture and working towards the legalization, only to find that the Liberal government, once they made it happen, you know, they told them, no, get out of the way, because we have our friends here that are going to be the king dings and the monopoly, or cartel that will be running this industry here in Canada from now on. So bugger off, people that made this possible at all in the first place. That's how it went. Absolutely. In a media statement, the company says that Forbes has extensive experience working in the front lines of addiction medicine as a pharmacist in multiple methadone pharmacies. So they're trying to play it out like, we're going to be helping the people that are having a hard time with this stuff. I'm sure that's the case. I'm sure that's what you're going to be doing. Absolutely. Sure. Adastra added that Forbes piloted a needle exchange program at the direction of the Center for Disease Control and Prevention in 2010. How's that going? Actually? In May 2022, a 3-year exemption was put in the place of possession of small amounts of up to 2.5 grams of controlled substances in BC. The exemption was made to address the ongoing overdose crisis in the province and will time out in 2026 at the end of January. Yeah, we're going to have cola cafes. Yeah, that's it. Oh, this is insane, and it's nothing new for government friends of the government to get these exclusive contracts to be allowed to enter into the marketplace of this. Now we have here from Mike. Damn, now we'll be seeing Trudeau even more in BC. That's good. BC firm gets approval from Health Canada to make and sell your favorite soft drinks. They're going to be selling cola. They're going to be selling cola over here. Premier astonished at BC firm's claim it got Health Canada's approval to make and sell Coca-Cola over here. Maybe not Coca-Cola brand Coca-Cola, but they're your favorite cola nonetheless. Now it would give Elon Musk the opportunity to put the Coke back in Coca-Cola here in British Columbia. Anyway, that is a thing. That's a thing that could happen. Perhaps somebody should suggest that to Musk, but whatever. And here's another article just saying essentially the same stuff. BC opposition letter says move is legalizing soft drink distribution. I'm trying to choose my words carefully, folks. Sorry. Adastra said the statement and the amended license company to interact with up to 250 grams of the soft drink and import the soft drink making bushes in order to make and synthesize the substance. Adastra CEO Michael Forbes said it will evaluate how the commercialization of the substance fits with its business model in an effort to position itself to support the demand for a safe supply of soft drink to anybody who wants to engage in soft drink. Yeah, white cola. Oh, you guys are hilarious. Yeah, so it's gonna be the white cola. Yeah, can I get a bottle of the white cola, please? Cola is overrated. The Tweet Cafe. Too good. The chat's just going insane right now. Oh wow. Yeah, so do you have any guess as to what profit margin what profit margins our government will make on fresh Canadian snow? Oh, I love it. I'm not sure, but here's the deal. So just like the weed trade in British Columbia or in Canada, there's this margin, right? So should I just hit my stance on this in the first place? So the libertarian in me is like, yeah, go ahead. Sweet. This is perfect. There should never have been a war on drugs in the first place. That just adds to the criminality of it. You're going to have a black market, which brings crime. Crime brings, you give these criminal entities an ability to make a profit off of something, and now they have the ability to, there's more incentive to do it, and then crime breeds other crimes, such as violent crimes in your society, and yada 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 yada. And then the other side of me goes, well, we don't live in a libertarian society. We don't live in a free society where the consequences of your own actions are dealt with by yourself. If you decide that you're going to become an addict, you're going to deal with the consequences, and then that's on you. And you know, SOL, you could go ruin your own life for all we care. Instead, we live in a place where the healthcare system is largely you're only allowed to go through the government healthcare system, and then addicts and drug addicts and all these problems end up becoming a big burn on the medical system, because you end up dealing with them and not people's real issues. And yeah, sorry, I'm going to call it not a real issue. If you've created the issue for yourself, that sucks. If you become an addict to a thing, that becomes secondary to what the main reason for the medical system is there for in the first place. The medical system is there to take care of people who are not screwing with themselves, but happen to, you know, have, you know, debilitating diseases, or, you know, get cancer, things like that. That would be the number one thing for. But then again, my argument would be we should lean towards having competition in the healthcare system. So, you know, that would bring a lot of the cost down, and yada, yada, all that. Help doctors make a living doing what it is that they've spent, you know, 12 years learning how to do, and then that gets these compound issues. These things compound on each other, and then it's like, well, why is going to school cost you so much money? Why is it that the education system has become this giant scam, and you end up paying for football teams and all this other apparatus when you go to school, instead of just paying for the basic education that you're going for, and they pad your tuition with all kinds of other stuff to entice people to go to that university or college, and then you end up getting into cola when you're getting your university, becoming an addict on it, and the cycle continues, and it keeps going around and around and around. So yeah, the libertarian side of me is like, this is, yeah, go for it. That's great. Let people live with the consequences of their own actions. But at the same time, I'm torn on the concept, because it's just gonna create all kinds of situations in the immediate, because people are gonna be like, willy-nilly, sweet, I can't get arrested for it, gonna go out and have my my white cola. White cola is the supreme soft drink. This is horrible. I'm trying to dance around these terms and come up with with your own way of saying it, just to not get around. So it's the beginning of the slippery slope. Okay, so yeah, that's the thing. My personal opinion on all of these substances is that I think people should make their own decisions. The government shouldn't be in there, because again, the cartel, there's a demand for these things, and all it does is it leads to the criminality, and then you end up with really, really well off criminals that you know, cartels and stuff like that. Without the drug trade, they wouldn't have the power that they have. It would virtually dissolve them. Now, Joe was bringing up the concept of the price mechanism, pricing. When you put a lot of taxes on it and you try to make it a thing where the government's going to tax the heck out of it to get it, to make it like profitable for themselves, and then there's this mechanism, right, where there's this threshold where if that substance becomes more expensive than the black market version of it, the black market version of it stays in place. It keeps, the cartels keep going. If you wanted to get rid of the criminality aspect of it, you'd have to make it cheaper than the criminals could sell it for. But then that also makes it that much more apt for people to be using it on the regular. And then you might actually look back and say, well, how many people were on this stuff before it became illegal? That I don't have the data on. I don't know the information about that. Free cola for for drag show attendees. Oh man, it's just gonna get ugly. It's just gonna keep getting more and more ugly as this stuff keeps going. That's I don't even know what to say about this. Joe sending Alberta's response to BC's drug approach. Oh, I haven't seen this. Okay, this is news to me, and hopefully it doesn't get me in trouble here. This is Aaron Gunn on Twitter saying, as BC decriminalizes hard drugs like what do we call this one? I can't say this stuff. I don't want to get in trouble. I guess we'll call that math that stuff, and cola moves towards the supply of these drugs for free to addicts at taxpayers' expense next door. Wait, they're talking about giving it away for free to addicts? I'm not keen on that either. The province is heading in the exact opposite direction. Here's what you need to know. And is there going to be any copyright stuff? I hope.
Thinking.
Wow, that's really loud. Let's get down to the volume on this. Let's check this out.
Hey, so we're here at the Alberta Recovery Conference in Calgary, a conference.
Yep, there's music. They always got to put music in there. I can't watch it. Sorry, Joe. Oh, that's a bummer. We'll have to put the link in the chat so people can go check it out later on their own time. Also in the description, make sure to put this one out there. But yeah, no, sorry. This is the thing. Listen, I just want to put this out there for anybody who wants to share stuff on social media. If you want to get it out there as far as possible, you would love to have YouTubers share your video, especially if you're putting it on social media out there for free and you can get it out there. I would love to share this with you guys, but sorry. If there's a copyright thing on there, and it's not about me making money, it's about the video getting the most reach. If the video gets restricted for any copyright stuff, YouTube doesn't share it. They won't put it in your recommendeds. This is the way it works. Like my last video, because I said one bad word in there, or I said the real cola word. My video won't hit the what would you call it, the recommended algorithm. So it doesn't get recommended out to people. So this is the thing. So YouTubers won't put it in their video and they won't be able to share it. So if you're putting stuff out there on social media and you want it to get shared as far as and wide as possible, don't put copywritten music in it. And there's no knowing if it's free, fair to use, copyright or whatnot. Just people are just not going to take the risk, unfortunately. Because I've done this on my live streams and I've had the whole entire live stream taken down over like a 30-second clip. But this is unfortunate the way it works. But I will check it out afterwards to look. Unfortunately, I can't report on it right now. I'm from the States, and I can share this. Oh, what's this? I'm from the States. Can I share, or I can share this, or I can share it, or can I share it? You can share. You can share whatever you want. Absolutely. I'm just saying if I use somebody else's copywritten music on my thing, YouTube won't recommend it, and that's where it burns everybody in the whole thing. Crystal M3 enhances brain cognition in some people. Yeah, I'll stay with my regular brain cognition, thanks. I'll take your word for it, I guess. I've seen people on it, and they don't seem to be very cognizant of what's happening around everybody. But if you are live streaming, people who don't like you in public might come up and play AC/DC, for example. And yeah, that's what people can do, honestly. And it's been done. It's been done to people where people come up and they'll just like play music to to mess with streamers that are out in public. Can't wait for BC's new tourism commercials. Oh my God. Yeah, that's a thing. That's absolutely a thing that we might be seeing happening soon. Oh, but okay. So again, here's my take on it. I think the way they like. So bear with me. So safe needle injection clinics, right? Safe needle clinics. They took off in Amsterdam, and they were largely successful in Amsterdam. And a lot of people said, "Oh, well, that works, and that's why we need to have safe injection sites in Canada." Right. So they tried them, and they didn't work. What is the difference? What happened? Why is it different? Well, the ones that they had in Amsterdam, they weren't run by the government. And it sounds like a cliche thing to say that when the government does something, they do it wrong. But here's the thing. It was run by local churches to help people. They were trying to help people, and they were doing it anyways. They were breaking the law at first. And they were actually helping people. They were cleaning up the parks. They were getting people out of these like areas where they were addicts all over the place, and they were harming people, and they were harming themselves. And so these local churches, they said, we'll take these people in, and we'll give them a safe place to do this. They didn't give them the stuff. They just gave them a place to do it. And what they did was they helped them to manage it. They helped them to manage it and to get themselves off of the substances that they were addicted to. And that's the main purpose of it having to be a private entity. Was the churches were able to discriminate against people. They were able to say to certain addicts that weren't behaving in a way that would get them off of these substances, they would relapse. They'd say, get out of here. You can't come here for the day. You can't come for dinner today. And they would punish them for having relapses or behaving badly or misbehave, whatever the case was, right? And what really changed in people's behavior was the fact that, oh wow, these people are actually trying to help me. I'm going to try to get off of this and do better for their own lives. Now, when it came to Canada, it became this government-run program that any government-run program is eligible for everybody. You cannot be denied the service. This is where it's different. So you can't go in there and like you'd have addicts going in there. Give me my safe area to do this. Okay. Well, you got to sit down and listen to us. No, I don't. Just give it to me. Give it to me. I'm doing my thing and I'm going. Unlike the churches in Amsterdam that were taking care of people and saying, yeah, okay, well, you can come in, you'll have a safe thing, we'll feed you, but you got to sit down and listen to us, and you got to sit down and talk to us, and we're gonna work through this with you and get you off of this substance, because it's damaging you, but it's damaging society as a whole because of your actions and what you're doing. This is awful. This is not the way we should go. And this is a big main crux of the argument that's just left out in Canada, absolutely left out. Like because everybody thinks that if something's going to be run in Canada, it has to be run by the government, or it's a bad thing. It's for profit. It's this weird socialist mentality that just does not need to exist when it comes to these things. Chris B, member for 2 months, re-upping your membership. Thank you so much. I'm going to post myself in Tokyo slide as we're expecting 30 centimeters of snow overnight. Ugh. Oh no. That's horrible. That's horrible. Thanks for one upping your membership. But yeah, wow. Where is that, Chris B? In British Columbia again? No thanks. Oh, I'm glad I'm not there right now. Ugh. Like we the like the way I like the way you explain things, Clyde. Yes, and I think things need to be really spelled out, like because they get obfuscated in these situations. People just assume safe needle clinic equals people getting off of these illicit substances. That's not true. That's not true. And again, when the government runs something, that's like saying hospital equals people getting better. And oh, okay, just anytime there's a hospital, people get better. Like, no, we're clearly doing it wrong in Canada. We're clearly doing that wrong as well. And it largely has to do with the same problem. It has to do with the government running it. And yeah, the different provinces are trying to run it differently, but and I keep going back to the mind-blowing moment when I was talking to Dr. Brian Day of the Canby Surgical Clinic, when he said that hospitals in Canada are paid out in one lump sum at the beginning of the year, and that's all they get, leading to the disincentive to actually treat anybody. Anytime that they have to treat somebody, it comes out of the money that they've been given, and that's it. They don't get that back. It's absolutely crazy to me. But yeah, of course, addiction leads to a lot of these people. Have you heard stories of addicts? They can't get their goods, so they'll inject themselves with just like household products or even urine and things to get an infection. They'll give themselves an infection and then go into the medical system, go into a hospital for treatment because they know they'll get like painkillers to go in and have these things done. This is a reality of addiction, and yeah, people need to get off of these substances, and these substances get people to do some pretty awful things to themselves and to their neighbors and their loved ones and all of these things. But just because making things not illegal, you know, not throwing them in a jail. You know what? Actually, it would do them better to sit in a jail cell. But here's another problem with the addiction thing, and you hear about this a lot. People will be thrown in jail over the crimes they commit because of the addiction or the substance, the possession of the substance itself. They'll get thrown in a jail cell. They go to jail for X amount of months or whatever. They come out after cleaning up. They go through all the detox, tremors, and all that stuff in jail. They come back out. They meet up with their friends. I injected my truck with urine to get Clyde to change the oil. No, you inject a lot of trucks. They're injected with urine to save the weather, to change the weather. Oh my God, that's what urea is. It's pretty much urine. Anyway, I got sidetracked on that one. Where was I? Okay, so people will get thrown into jail. They'll clean up for an amount of time, and then what? And then what happens? They get out, they get back on their drugs, and then they take a dose that they're used to having, and then they overdose. Because they've been off it for some time, they end up overdosing on that, and it's sad. It's sad, but drugs make their way into jails. That's true. That's absolutely true. So I like the Amsterdam approach of getting people off of illicit drugs, but I think it needs to be done by a private entity. I don't think the government is going to do a good job at it. It needs to be volunteers and people from churches, because you're not going to find lefties that will volunteer. Sorry, lefties out there, if you think that's offensive. But where do you volunteer? No, you volunteer everybody's tax dollars towards these things that don't end up working. If you want something to work well within a community, you gotta like, and this is why, even as a person who's I'm not particularly religious, but I'll give my money to my local churches, and in no. I'm not particular on the denomination that I give my money to. I just give to the ones that I know are doing good work in my local communities. that's absolutely a thing to do. Russian roulette is a little safer. Jeez. Yeah, help a friend suffering. Absolutely. Rehab is free in Alberta. Yeah, well, that's great. That's great. It's just when it comes with no strings attached, that's the problem, and that's what happens with government. There's no strings attached. There's no consequences for relapsing. There's no consequences for the behavior, and that's where it really comes in. So I don't know if that really answers the whole question of them legalizing cola in British Columbia and legalizing the sale of it. I mean, you tell me who didn't see that coming. Who didn't see that coming? Legalizing the sale and then handing it off to somebody who's just turns out to be friends with somebody in a position of authority. I would love to see the criminality, like the criminal aspect of the sale of these substances disappear, because it's no longer a criminal thing. But vending machines, oh god, wow, yeah. We'll have to see in the future, but there are other battles that we need to be fighting as well, and this coming from British Columbia, also, and this one really disgusted me, and let me just get into this, because I don't even know what to say. About this one in particular. Should I do it this way? Yeah, this works.
Hi, my name's Knox Zajac. I'm 11 years old and I go to Wyndham Middle School. I'm a 6th grader. I was in the library and this book was on a stand. I'd like to read you a page. My back over my hips as I ask if we should take our clothes off. And he's saying yes before I finish my sentence. He's pulling off my t-shirt, laughing when I can't undo his shirt buttons. He's undoing my belt. I'm reaching into his bedside drawer for a condom. We're kissing. Again, we're rolling over. Obviously, you can see where this is going. I don't know if it's because we're feeling especially emotional or just tired, or these past couple of weeks have been too much. But this reminds me so much of the first time we had sex. We were both fucking terrified, and the whole thing was kind of terrible because we didn't know what we were doing. But it was good too, so good, because we were a mess of emotions, and we were scared and excited, and everything felt new. So this sort of feels like that. Nick touches me like he's scared that any minute. Now, this book was at my middle school, and it was on a stand. When I rented it out to show my dad it, the librarian asked if I wanted more and if I wanted a graphic novel version.
All those in favor of approving? Thank you, trustees. That's unanimous. Okay, so we're moving on.
Oh boy. So
I'm not sure what the approval thing was there. That really, I have no idea what that was about. But clearly, this is disgusting. This is a book that was in a kid's school, and not only the librarian said, "Do you want the graphic novel version of this?" This book was not like hidden in the back area of the school. Again, when I was in school, there was the books that the kids. I mean, I was a little boy, right? And we found a book, and it had like the anatomy of the human body, and that was like, whoa, crazy, right? That was oh my god, I can't believe we see in this at our library school. Like that was the extent of what was going on when I was a kid in school, when it came to like things that might be seen as obscene in the or National Geographic. There you go. So National Geographic, you're like, oh wow, there I saw a boob, and that was a thing as well. But this is insane. This is insanity. So I don't know what the vote on was about with that, but here's the father of that kid.
that kid's
you're good.
father. So that's my son,
Okay.
11 years old, and went to his library and found that by the entry door of our library, this is the smut that he is finding, all right? I don't care whether it's gay, straight, bisexual, whatever the terms are for all this stuff.
I can hear you, but it's not getting broadcast because you're saying stuff that's potentially discriminatory, so I'm not going to let you speak anymore. You can please take a seat.
Doesn't need to be at our school. Doesn't need to be at my 11-year-old's library. And then as far as genderqueer, I've got a son in the high school as well. And this is bullshit. We know it, all right? We do not need to be having literature that's showing boys how to suck dick, all right? I'm very, very frustrated about it, okay? And you may think that schools know the best for our children. You know who know the best for our children? The parents.
Yeah, I don't know what she was saying. She was saying something about somebody saying propaganda jump cuts. I don't know. I don't know what those jump cuts were, but this is what the dad was putting out there, and also the kid. I'm not sure what the vote on was and what's not being broadcast because of it might be discriminatory. I mean, what they're doing is reporting on what's actually in the library at this school, and of course, just absolutely sickening. Discriminatory against, against who is realistically the thing here. Now, here's the thing. I honestly think that this stuff should be criminal. Like it should be criminal to expose children to anything that's overtly sexual in nature. You're not allowed to do that with outside of the school situation, right? Outside of the school situation, you're not allowed to overtly talk to anyone or approach anyone under the age of 18 with any of this kind of thing. And well, absolutely, that's criminal. So why is it not criminal inside the school? If a teacher, I don't think I need to really go into a deep explanation of this, but I absolutely do believe that having this type of stuff, anybody who puts this type of thing available to young children, there's no arguing that what the kid read was sexual in nature. G Meister, the $10 super chat, give it 10 or so years, and the kid that haven't been permanently scarred emotionally will start launching lawsuits. I wouldn't doubt that. Launching lawsuits against these people. Now, like, this is crazy that and like it's right by the front of the school. It's not something that's, again, like National Geographic would have been buried back at the in one of the shelves and still available, and oh my God, there's a boob. But this is overtly teaching kids how to engage in this type of behavior. And I think the father said it right. It's not about gay or trans or bi or any of that stuff. That's whatever. As an adult, you do you. You go do you. Be what you want to be what you think you were born to be, or whatever you want to say about it. That's fine. Go and do that. But we're talking about sexualizing children. That's gross. It's wrong, and it's criminal. It's absolutely criminal. And I'm getting really nervous, not lying, because I noticed that, like, I've been seeing a lot of this stuff coming from Vancouver or Toronto or Ottawa. For one, Ottawa's just out to lunch altogether. The more I hear about Ottawa, the more I just realize that town is just, it's beyond repair. It's irreparable at this point, I think. Just how horrible it is. I don't even know what to say after that. But when I hear about this happening in Chilliwack, of all places, has anyone been to Chilliwack? Like, anyone in the comments, in the chat, have you ever been to Chilliwack? Tell me if you're from Chilliwack. Chilliwack is not the big city. It's not Toronto. It's not Ottawa. It's a farming community. It's the armpit of British Columbia. It's known as that because there's the Fraser Valley, and the wind blows up the Fraser Valley, and before you get to Hope, where all the mountains are, and just before you get to Chilliwack, there's actual places where they manage. I've been to Chilliwack. Bad music. What? Chilliwack, the band. But yeah, it's like they have fertilizer facilities just outside of Chilliwack, and when they're doing their thing, all of Chilliwack reeks of fertilizer. It's crazy. Cow poop. There you go. It's the armpit. Yeah, it's the armpit of British Columbia. When everything blows up towards that way. Wayne Allen with the $5 super chat. I protested drag story time in Kelowna 3 weeks ago. Wow. I don't even know what to do with this. I love Chilliwack, the band. Jeez. Yeah, I like Chilliwack. Except the ones that they just don't stop playing on the radio. I'm just sick of hearing radio and music. It's they just overplay the same 20 songs all the time. But yeah, Chilliwack is not a big city. It's a farming community. And you're seeing this stuff in the schools. It makes me nervous about where my kids are. And it makes me want to pay a visit to the school. And I think when I get back from Japan, that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be going with my wife and paying a visit to the school library and having a look through what it is that they're showing to our kids. And I would encourage all parents to do this. Absolutely. And depending on what I see in that school library, I'll be making decisions on what I'm going to be doing moving forward with my children's education. That's for sure. But and I'm going to be keeping a close eye on it moving forward. If you don't like Chilliwack, there's lots of snow to fix that now. Which kind of snow? Are you talking about that Great Canadian British Columbia snow? The new stuff that's hitting the market these days? The new brand of cola? Oh, boy. But yeah, I had to share this one on the live stream. It's absolutely disgusting. It messes with me personally. Because I have young kids in the school system, and Coca-Cola. Oh God. Oh, I like that. But yeah, I have kids in the school system, and I'm terrified of what they're possibly being subjected to, and it's just disgusting. It's disgusting. This move towards pushing overt sexualization of children, and what do you do from there? What do you do from there? I feel like that's the last corruption of society, right? Is when you corrupt children. Is there no sense of allowing for innocence? There's only children are the personification of innocence. I mean, you see when you raise a child or you're being around a child that's being raised, just the amazing innocent things that they say and do, and it just warms my heart when my kids say something or do something. It just comes from such an innocent place, and it's so lovely to see, right? And you have these people that are actively trying to destroy innocence in society. I feel like that's the last thing to just destroying an entire civilization, is removing the innocence from children and subjecting them to abuse like this, and normalizing the abuse of children. Can't fly. It just can't fly. And there's reasons why children cannot consent. I think that's as far as I'm going to go with this, or I'm going to get in trouble. I think that's where I'm gonna leave that story. And let's get into well, just how awful things are going when it comes to our electoral process in Canada. That's exactly right, Clyde. They want to take their innocence. Yeah, that's what abusers do. And it's, I don't know, you call it what you want, like evil, demonic. It's awful. It's awful. I don't, nothing righteous comes from that position. There is no good justification to take that stand of taking the innocence from children, because that's what you're doing. You're taking it. You're not just subjecting children to abuse. You're actively taking their innocence from them. And we can't stand for that. Anyway, I'm moving on. I'm moving on to this story about election meddling. We have, and this is a deep story. It's becoming more of a deep story. Something that's not just, oh, they tried to meddle with our elections. It's becoming a corruption across the board story. And I'm going to start with this aspect of it because I think this point nails it pretty good. It's a witch hunt, says the real Andy Lee show. The head of Canada's spy services says an investigation is underway to find the leakers of highly classified information on Chinese election interference, and suggested whistleblowers may have been frustrated with Justin Trudeau. And this is an article from, it says Apple News here. And I'm getting notifications from all over the place. CSIS investigating who leaked information of China's election interference. Oops, can only view it on the Globe and Mail. But nonetheless, what is the indictment here? The indictment here is China did interfere in our elections. And here's the real damning information, is that Trudeau and his government knew about it. They were informed by CSIS, and they did nothing. The RCMP did not investigate into this. And where are we going to see an investigation? We'll finally see an investigation when somebody spills the beans about what's going on behind the scenes in Canada when it comes to the integrity of our elections. Do you think we're going to have any faith in our electoral system when the apparatus that's supposed to be protecting us, i.e. the CSIS, or the Canadian CIA, is actively going after their own members for letting the public know about what's been going on behind the scenes when it comes to federal election meddling and getting in the middle of it. Not only this, okay, it gets gross. It's really gross here. So 5 MPs don't believe in standing up for democracy. Good to know. What is this? What does this have to do with? This is an article here. House Affairs Committee voted 6-5. Affairs Committee by 6-5 vote rules Parliament must order public inquiry into election interference. Liberal MPs opposed the motion, expected to be endorsed by Commons following return from recess on Monday. So this is insane. So 5 Liberal MPs voted not to even look into it. Let's not even have a committee to look into this election meddling. This should be enough to absolve the government and push into another election. This should be the case that goes right into that. Are you kidding? 5 MPs were like, nothing to see here. We don't even want to look into it. We don't even want to look into what happened with this election interference. Oh, this is so crazy. So crazy. And it gets insane. Spencer Fernando, here, saying official opposition calls for an emergency meeting after the NDP votes with the Liberals to prevent top Trudeau aide from testifying. It's just, and this is why people are so disenfranchised with everything that's going on in Canada. We have it's just so corrupt at every level. It's so corrupt. Official opposition calls for an emergency meeting after NDP votes with the Liberals to prevent top Trudeau aide from testifying. The NDP needs to decide if they will stand up for democracy or continue to shield the Prime Minister's office, said Conservative MP Michael Cooper. After the NDP members of the Standing Committee on Procedure and House Affairs yet again voted with the Liberals against the Conservative motion calling for the Prime Minister Trudeau's Chief of Staff, Katie Telford, to testify, the Conservatives have called for an emergency meeting on the matter. I'm not even sure what that even means, what that even gets into. We're going to have an emergency meeting. We're going to emergency convene. We're going to convene in the emergency that the government, the NDP and the Liberals are colluding to hide corruption in our government. Great. That's amazing. Conservative MP Michael Cooper said the Liberals were filibustering to stop Telford from testifying and said the NDP acted as accomplices to shut down debate. And they should be seen as accomplices if criminal things end up turning out here, because they're absolutely impeding in an investigation. Yeah, Juggy is a sellout, Jimmy McJuggernuggets. The Prime Minister continues to resist calls for an inquiry despite mounting pressure, and the NDP is now facing additional scrutiny as they seem insistent on broadening the inquiry. A move some see as an attempt to deflect the focus away from China and away from the Liberal Party. Now, there was that Chinese guy, the guy, what was his name? Ho Dong or something like that. He's a Liberal MP. And this is where things it all got really pushed in that direction. When it turned out that CSIS had recommended that Hans Dong, is that what his name was? Mr. Dong, Ding Dong, they're coming after you. So it turns out that the CSIS had gone into giving recommendation to the Liberals to not run that guy for office, because they thought he was compromised by China. And they came in and they said this evidently, allegedly, right? So they said this to the Liberals, and Justin's like, nope, I'm gonna run with that guy nonetheless. I'm all about it. We love the Dong in Liberal camp. Camp Liberal, and that's what they're gonna go with it. And sure enough, he runs, and and sure enough, it turns out there was some seedy stuff going on in the background, and it's all coming to light now. But of course, I have to share this. The NDP are on the side of the Liberals for sure, going through this whole story. Now, where are we with this? Most Canadians say Liberals are scared of standing up to China, a poll suggests. Now, this may end up becoming really bad for the Liberals moving forward. But we've all said this, Dong gone wrong. Yeah. So this is something that people have said in the media on the conservative-leaning side of things. Viva detailed this. Okay. I've been trying to catch up with this while I'm vacationing in Japan. Donggate. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, it's so funny. But even some people on the Liberal side of things are saying this might be the end of Trudeau. And if the Liberals don't ditch him, this may be the end of them entirely, but that's not what they're doing. They're going full bore, and the NDP are jumping on board with them in full corruption mode. But most Canadians say Liberals are scared of standing up to China. This includes 91% of the past Conservative voters, 62% of past NDP voters, and 46% of those who have voted Liberal. Amidst concerns that Beijing attempted to interfere in Canada's elections, new poll shows that more than 2/3 of Canadians believe that the Liberal government is afraid to stand up to China. Well, I mean, many people watching Trudeau, they'll say, well, maybe he doesn't want to. Perhaps he does have that affection and that admiration for China's basic dictatorship, as we know. A majority believe that Ottawa has been weak in its response, or wanky in their response, perhaps. The poll from the Angus Reid Institute shows that 69% of Canadians believe the government is scared of standing up to China, including 91% of the past Conservatives. We went over that. In recent years, the Liberal government under Justin Trudeau has been accused of taking an insufficiently aggressive stance towards Chinese interference in Canadian affairs. 53% of... Okay, so anyway, this is a big poll, an article just about the poll showing that people are, well, don't trust the government and don't trust the Liberals. Now, of course, the world is mocking Canada and Canada's Prime Minister. This is actually old. This has been out there for a while, but this is a video of which I'm going to mute the audio because for the same reason as the other one before. Right? But what did I have here? This every time, MSN News, you're killing me. You're killing me with these pop-ups. You're always killing me with the pop-ups. I can't. Oh, Trudeau Foundation donors want a statue of. Oh, okay. Can I get the article? Thanks. How do I get rid of this? How do I get rid of it? Oh, there we go. So this is something else that I saw. So I just put a bunch of these links in, and I'm hitting them as I go along. But the Trudeau Foundation donors wanted a statue of communist dictator Mao Zedong in Montreal, the report says. This is from... Geez, I don't even know when this is from. I saw it in my feed. Donors to the Pierre Elliott Trudeau Foundation and the University of Montreal reportedly wanted to erect a statue of Chinese Communist leader Chairman Mao Zedong at the institution's law school alongside former Prime Minister Prime Minister Pierre Elliott Trudeau. So they wanted to have Pierre Elliott Trudeau bust right next to Chairman Mao statue. They suggested one of the Trudeau and Mao together. University of Montreal spokesperson, of course it's a spokesperson, whatever, I don't know how to pronounce that, told Canadian news outlet The Globe and Mail in a report published Tuesday. Okay, so this came out recently. The former Prime Minister and father of current Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who was overt commie apparently, established diplomatic relations between Canada and China in the early 1970s and eventually traveled to Beijing, where he met and shook hands with the man who killed over 50,000. Ballpark is looking between 50 and 100,000 of his own people. Went and shook his hand because that's the kind of people we have in our leadership here in Canada. Traveled to Beijing, where he shook hands with Chairman Mao in 1973. Mom, who served Mao, I guess, who served Maoist China, rips Virginia Democrats. Oh, Mom. That actually is Mom, who survived there. But yeah, this is where we are in Canada, where they're openly celebrating Mao. This is millions, Clyde, millions. Did I not say millions? I thought I said 50 to 100 million people. Those are the estimates. And when you're like in the ballpark of like 50 to 100, like, are you kidding me? They don't even know. RCMP decides they're not going to investigate. We would love to get out there and say that we investigated ourselves and we found no wrongdoing, but we're going to save you the trouble. We're going to save you the trouble. We're just not going to investigate into what happened in the 2021 general election, meddling, allegations. I don't think it's worth our time, because we're just going to end up coming out and telling you that nothing happened anyway. So why put the money into investigating this thing? The RCMP is not investigating any allegations into foreign interference concerning the last general election. The federal deputy minister of public safety told a parliamentary committee Wednesday. Sean Tupper of Tupperware, I guess, was appearing at the Committee on Procedure and House Affairs, which is looking into accusations of Chinese meddling in the 2019 and 2021 elections. The Liberal government has come under pressure in recent weeks to explain what Canada is doing about the accusation of Chinese interference in the elections following leaks to the media from unnamed security sources. Now, for some reason, they're not mentioning the 2013 or 2014 allegations as well. There was a Chinese diplomat or a person of sorts. This was leaked by CSIS. That there was an individual within the Trudeau Foundation who gave what was it, $1 million to the Trudeau Foundation, and was told later that they would be reimbursed by the Chinese Communist Party. That happened back then, and in 2019 or 2021, it was over $200,000. This is the thing. Imagine my shock. Yeah, absolutely. They're not looking. We would investigate ourselves and found no wrongdoing, but we're just going to save you the trouble here. The Liberal government has come under pressure in recent weeks. Yeah, the Globe and Mail newspaper, citing classified Canadian Security Intelligence Service records, recently said China worked to help ensure a Liberal minority victory in 2021 general election, as well as defeat conservative politicians considered unfriendly to Beijing. Wow. The Globe said that the spy service quoted the Chinese diplomat as saying Beijing likes it when Canada's political parties are fighting with each other, whereas if one has a majority, the party in power can easily implement policies that do not favor China. Oh, God. That sucks. So even if they had a majority, the Liberals, they don't like that because they may implement stuff that doesn't favor China. Ding dong, Clyde calling. Oh, God. The newspaper said, it says Canada 2045, you cannot own a gas-powered car, but white cola is free for everyone. The newspaper also said that according to CSIS, Chinese diplomats were behind undeclared cash donations to campaigns and have business owners hire international Chinese students and assign them to volunteer in election campaigns. Corrupt. So corrupt. A recent Global News report cited anonymous sources alleging CSIS had urged senior Liberal Party staff to rescind Han Dong's nomination in a Toronto riding in 2019, but the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau approved his candidacy anyway. CSIS recommended. Did you catch that? CSIS had urged senior Liberal Party staff to rescind Han Dong's nomination. Our own, basically, version of CIA, our intelligence gathering apparatus for the government, told the Liberals to rescind Han Dong's nomination. Dong, who won the first riding for the Liberals in 2019, who won the riding for the Liberals in 2019 and 2021, said his nomination and campaign teams have found no indication of irregularities or compliance issues regarding his candidacy or election. We investigated ourselves and we found no wrongdoing. God. What the heck? It's not a situation where Dong's campaign said we opened ourselves up to an investigation from a third party and they found no wrongdoing. No. We opened up our own books and we found nothing wrong. Believe us. Holy cow. Tupper told the MPs on the committee Wednesday that the RCMP is not investigating any of the allegations that are arising from the last election. National Security Advisors Jody Thomas, who appeared alongside Tupper, said it's very important to reassure Canadians that the last two federal elections were fair and legitimate. Well, how are you going to do that without investigating it? That's funny. Yeah. Oh, God. Our fall from grace is deep. Holy cow. It's gone so far. Canadians have questions about foreign interference attempts, and officials will try to answer them in the most transparent way possible within the limits of the law, Thomas said. We, as national security officials, have a duty to protect classified information. Anything that may incriminate themselves for the things that they may or may have not done, they need to make sure that it stays classified and doesn't get out there in the public scrutiny. What the problem here is, and you got to realize this, the main problem here in this whole scenario that they're telling you is that, wow, we're catching up. We're catching up on the chat here. Wow. The main issue that has occurred, don't you realize, is that somebody leaked information that seeded doubt in the public. Now, we need to make sure that never happens again, is what they're getting at. That's absolutely what they're getting at. And hence the reason why CSIS is looking to investigate their own for finding out who the whistleblower is. Because the whistleblower may have been frustrated with Justin Trudeau and may have leaked out information because they don't like the fact that the Chinese government can influence our elections. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. The Conservative Party, NDP, and Bloc Québécois have called for an independent public inquiry into the allegations of foreign interference. Ain't that funny that they called for that, but then they stopped it. They call for it. And this is the NDP, really. Like, you got to really have a look at this hard and just say, okay, so Jagmeet Singh is always beacon off about the Liberals doing stuff, and then he votes with them every time. He says stuff like, we were calling for an independent inquiry into the investigations into foreign interference. And, maybe Katie Telford taking the stand might be a thing into that. No, we're going to vote against that. We're going to vote against that for sure. It's absolutely frustrating. I don't know where we go from this. Thomas said the security and intelligence community understands the challenge posed by foreign meddling because, it creates a challenge where they have to keep those secrets from the Canadian public. We're taking concrete steps to strengthen our counter foreign interference approach, including by making sure that those who engage in such activities face consequences. But in reality, what we're looking at is making sure that, anybody who leaked that will face consequences. Under federal protocol, there will be a public announcement if a panel of senior bureaucrats determine that an incident or an accumulation of incidents threatened Canada's ability to have a free and fair election. Okay, so we're just going to, unnamed board is going to tell us whether or not Canada has free and fair elections. Cool. Isn't that just a great method to the madness that we have here in Canada? Unbelievable. And the story keeps going on and on and on. Oh, we have from the Globe and Mail here. Oh, no, that's, again, can't look at that article. Womp womp. But, yeah, it's just going forward further and further and further. Now, Katie Telford, I don't know where I was going with that one. Katie Telford, here's an article that came to my attention today. This is from back in 2020 when the Trudeau government paying $84 million to firm employing Katie Telford's husband to manage rent assistance aid program. This is the kind of nepotism and crap that's just going on in our government. So Katie Telford, who's the head of the PMO, the Prime Minister's office, apparently has nothing to do with the contract between Robert Silver's firm and a federal crown corporation that has, gets $84 million for their services. Yeah, it's just a coincidence that he's the guy for the job, for this thing that he happens to do. And I don't even know where to go with this. As the news just keeps rolling in more and more and more about our Canadian government. Most of us were apolitical. A lot of us, I know myself, I was just kind of, I always just thought Canada was like, whatever. You got these corrupt politicians that kind of skim off the top a little bit, whatever. I'm not a fan of their rhetoric anyway, but most people before the pandemic were just kind of apolitical. Just stayed out of it. Who cares? It's corrupt. It's crappy. It is what it is. But we all started paying attention to it a little bit more when it started to really affect our lives. And here's the thing. The pandemic's over, but the government keeps grabbing. They keep having their tentacles grabbing in more and more than they ever used to into our lives. And yeah, it's leading to a lot of people looking into this stuff. And the more people keep paying attention, and the more people are paying attention, the more gross it turns out it really actually is. We knew they were all corrupt, but we didn't know it was this gross. We didn't know it was actually at this sort of level here. And now we're paying attention, and more people and more people are waking up to this. And it's gone so far beyond what is palatable for the average Canadian person anymore now. And it's getting hard to ignore as this stuff turns out. $84 million to her husband? Get out of here. Like that's just an accident. It had nothing to do with the fact that she's at the head of the PMO's office. Get out of town. We don't believe you. No one's going to buy that. And, you can say what you want. But yeah, a lot of people are really, really getting sick and tired of it. And I hope it turns out to make some changes. But what are we going to get? What are we going to get in the meantime? We're waiting for an election so we can change things. And we have we have people who got elected. And we have a lot of people who are really, really happy about Big Pee-Pee getting into the position of leadership of the Conservative Party, thinking, hey, this is going to bring a lot of change. But then we saw that rhetoric from last week about people who disagree with me are vile and racist. That sounds like something that we are all too familiar with in the rhetoric in Canada. Is that going to be the push forward in Canada? I hope not. I hope not. And like I said, I'm going to keep working on the culture because I think the culture is what's more important here than trying to, we'll push at the politicians for sure. But I think it's when we change the culture, when we push the culture forward, I mean, we're not really changing the culture. What it is people waking up to what's been happening in the culture. When we see our kids getting subjected to this blatant attack on their innocence, that wakes people up. That's going to get people angry. When people go to the grocery store and they see $30 steaks, that's what people will wake up. When ground beef, when ground beef is $20, you know, when eggs are over $10. This is what's going to wake people up. And this is where we need to be as a community of people that are seeing this situation and how gross it is and all of that, not to get fed into the whole concept of division. We need to be there with open arms and not a bunch of I told you so's. You know what I mean? We need to, when people wake up to this stuff, we need to be there ready for them to go, how did I know this? Or how did I not see it? Go, yeah, well, we saw it, but welcome to this side of the aisle. Not, hey, you guys are, I hate you because your eyes weren't open to this before. No, welcome these people in. Welcome them in, because that's the last thing we need is more division. And don't even let the conservative leaders divide people. And that's what these people's views are vile. That's divisive. I don't like it. I'm not gonna get on board with it. So a lot of people are saying PP is our only chance. He's the only one who can get elected. Well, if you want to influence what's going on, you got to influence the culture. And I sincerely believe that, and we need to do that. PP will follow suit if he seems to be such a follower candidate, and that's where we're gonna go. That's where we're gonna go. We can't manifest our own destiny unless we engage with the process. I know a lot of people are getting upset about things like that, and then they say, I'm going to completely disengage. I recommend against that, but I'm open for the conversation. And that's what I have the Discord for. And again, we're running over this time on the live stream. And let's open up the stage for everybody who wants to add their opinions on all of these things that I talked about over the past 2 hours. And we'll have that over in the Discord. I won't be having my wobbly pops. Hopefully, I'll have a cup of coffee or something like that. I'm gonna have wobbly pops later. As you can see, it's getting lighter out as the stream goes on here. It's getting brighter behind me as the day moves on and the sun goes over to the western part of the sky. But that's where we are. And yeah, lots of people still supporting PP. And that's fine. I think we just need to be the thing that keeps them all in check. And that's how we do it. We do it with our own communities and with our own ability to speak our opinions and not be vitriolic and go with the division tactics that so many people love to grasp onto. But anyway, let's carry this conversation over in the Discord. Loved hanging out with all of you and talking about all the things that are happening this week in Canada and the world and over here in Japan. This is it's great. Hopefully next week we'll be able to get you on the mobile setup, and we'll go for a walk, and we'll go for a walk around Tokyo in the not the early morning, the early afternoon. I mean, it's like, what time is it now here? It's got to be after 1 o'clock, I believe. It is. Yeah, it's almost it's 1:45 in the afternoon. So it should be a fun one. I know next week, pay attention to it live, because it won't get recommended out because of what it is that I'll be doing. Because of walking around, I know I'm going to get nailed with that copyright claim. It happens every time. So you'll have to tune into it live, because it may not, after the fact, it may have chunks of audio cut out of it. So that's going to be just the way it is. That's the way it is. So tune into that. Of course, again, next week at 9:30 Eastern Time, 6:30 Pacific. Check your local time zones. If you're in Tokyo, that'll be on Saturday at 11:30 in the morning. But yeah, we'll definitely check that out, and we'll see you guys all in the next one. I'll try to keep up with some more videos next week, but don't be disappointed if you don't see them, because I'm on vacation. We'll see you all in the next one. Of course, as always, keep on trucking.